Hello, World History 1 students. This is Mr. Everton, and this is a video about Confucianism. We're going to talk about what Confucianism is and how it affected Chinese society. Confucianism is a belief system, not a religion, but it is a philosophy about how government should work and how society should be organized. And it was created in a time period called the Warring States period. During the second half of the Zhou dynasty in China, the Zhou emperor lost any kind of control that he really had, and China became fractured and unstable and violent. It was a period of a lot of chaos. No individual ruler really had any control of what was happening, and you had lots of states fighting each other to see who could try to unify China. And in that time period, many of the princes and dukes and people who were running small individual kingdoms within China started hiring advisors to try to help them stabilize their kingdoms. And one of those advisors was named Confucius. Now, Confucius was born in 551 BCE. Confucius is actually the Latin name, the European name for this person. In China, he's known as Kongzi or Confucius. And so the European way of saying his name is Confucius. We're just going to say Confucius because it's easier for me to say, which is why most people say it that way. Confucius had a philosophy that he thought would restore order to China. He said that social order could be restored through respect and tradition, that China could be improved and fixed through people basically following traditions and upholding the old way of doing things and being polite and respectful to each other. It's a very old-fashioned kind of perspective. The specific beliefs of Confucianism: Confucius believed that humans are born good, and that anything that happens to make them bad happens after they're born, but that all people are born with the impulse to be good people, and they stay that way unless something corrupts them. So he said that by educating people, we can encourage these good tendencies. So he put a lot of focus on education, and a lot of Confucianists who believed in this belief system really stressed education as well. Confucianists were, it's not that they didn't believe in the supernatural at all. They definitely worshipped ancestors. Ancestor worship was a common practice in China before Confucius, and it became a part of Confucianism. And this is the belief that important people in your family who have died, previous generations of people like your grandpa and your great-grandmother, that they are in heaven and that they are looking down on the family, and that they are doing what they can, from heaven to try to help the family out and push the family in a good direction. And so people would pray to their ancestors, and they would set up altars in their homes and have offerings and celebrations of their deceased ancestors, ancestor worship. Confucius stressed a code of politeness. He believed that if everybody took the time to say, please and thank you, not just that, but if everybody took the time to hold the door for someone else, that society would become a better place. And that even though that might sound really simple and basic, just saying please and thank you and holding the door for people and treating other people with respect, that if everybody did this, that there would be social order, and that society would run smoothly, and that there would be less violence and less chaos. And finally, Confucius really stressed the idea of filial piety. Filial piety basically just means respect for your elders. Confucius recognized 5 different relationships in society, and these are almost all of them are unequal relationships in Confucius's mind. And Confucius said that it's really important to understand that you are in unequal relationships with other people, and that if somebody is above you, that you need to respect that and not resent it. I think in the West, we have a tendency, in the West meaning in America, we have a tendency to prize our own individuality and our own like abilities a lot, which is nothing wrong with that. But Confucius took a very different attitude. He believed that if you should respect your parents, that your parents were above you, and that when they said to do something, you should do it because they are your parents and they have control over you, and that that's the way it should be. He said that that parent-child relationship was a model for government. He said that the emperor of China was like the father of China. And so similarly, all the people of China should respect the emperor and do what the emperor said. He thought that older siblings should have that same relationship with their younger siblings, that an older brother should be able to tell a younger brother what to do. He thought, and this is, it's a patriarchal society, they thought that men should be able to tell their wives what to do, and that was the same kind of unequal relationship where a man had the power in a family and that the wife should do what the man said. The only one of these 5 relationships that was equal, Confucius said, all of this is according to Confucius, was the relationship between friends. He said that friends should have a relationship of equals. All these others, he's saying that one side is more powerful and deserving of more respect than the other. This is really important, though, and I want you to write this down, even though it's not on the PowerPoint. And if you don't write it down, then I'll look at your notes and I'll be like, oh, they didn't do this part. Then I'll take points off. Yeah, so hopefully you're listening to what I'm saying. This is so important. Confucius said that even though like the parent has more power than the child, the parent should act in the child's best interest. Likewise, the ruler should act in the subject's best interest. Confucius said whoever in the relationship has more power needs to also treat the person below them with respect, and that will make them a better parent or ruler or older brother or husband or whatever, and that is the key to making society a better place. So to summarize, Confucius was a philosopher who created a belief system called Confucianism, which puts a premium on social order. And he said that social order could be maintained through manners and politeness and respect for other people. He said that education was really important, and that was a really influential idea later in Chinese history. And he focused on respect for somebody who is above you, recognizing that there are people who are above you and respecting them and not resenting that power that they have. Thanks very much for watching, and I will talk to you next time.